Hi there fellow guitarists, Josh Rogers here. The tutorial today is for Etude No.3 by Matteo Carcassi. If you want the tabs, please like and subscribe to my video. If you want the full score, which has all the left hand fingerings, right hand fingerings, music notation, tabs and everything, you can just follow the link that I'll leave down in the description below. When you leave a comment, make sure that you also include your email address and let me know that you've subscribed, and then I'll email those tabs out to you as soon as possible. Before we get into it, I just want to explain a few things. This is a study, so it was written for you to study certain aspects of classical guitar technique, or guitar technique in general. One of the techniques that I think was meant to be studied when you do this is to change chords smoothly and exploit the concept of guide fingers, preparation, and pivot fingers. If we just run through a little bit here, a guide finger stays on a string between different chords. So for example, in the first two chords we have that, and then I move to this chord. I'm using a guide finger here, which means I slide that finger along and then I place my fingers like this. That's a guide finger. It stays on the same string between two or more chords. Preparation just means, if you can, you try to get your fingers ready, hovering over strings before they're actually needed there. So for example, in that first two chords, I might try to put my third finger up here ready, and then when I move, it's already kind of in place instead of leaving it out here, and then when I shift I suddenly have to move it there. Don't get me wrong, there's some amazing guitar players and their fingers are all, you know, like right out here, and they just seem to be able to get their finger back exactly where it needs to be so quickly. I'm not one of those guitarists. I need to keep my fingers pretty close to the strings, otherwise I'll miss it. Actually, sometimes I still miss the string anyway. That's a technique known as preparation. The other technique is a pivot finger. A pivot finger is when a finger stays on the same position between two different chords. For example, it's not in this song, but I'm just going to use it so we can get through this quickly. A pivot finger, say the second finger would be, we've got this chord, and then maybe we've got a chord like this. This finger doesn't move, it stays there. You should always be looking for these three techniques whenever you're playing. It doesn't matter if it's just this piece. Think about it. Oh, is there a way that I can get between these chords a little bit easier? Especially if you're struggling with a chord. You might be able to use one or more of these techniques to help you negotiate a particularly difficult or challenging piece of music that you're studying at the moment. Let's play this. First chord starts with an open A, and then we have our fingers on the second fret of the third string, second string and first string, like this. The thumb is the only one that moves, and we've got this pattern here. That is the picking pattern throughout the entire song except for about one bar. Okay, so let's carry on. Let's use that picking technique now. So we have that, and then we're going to take off our third finger. So it's 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 2. Move to the second chord. I'm going to use the guide finger principle. My second finger is going to move from the second to the third fret. First finger goes on to the second fret on the first string. Third finger, fourth fret on the sixth string. Fourth finger, fourth fret on the G string. We're going to do the exact same picking pattern, but this time thumb is moving up to the sixth string, and we're going to release this first finger here like this. So it's the same finger picking pattern. The only thing that's moved is the thumb on the right hand. Off. Next chord. Second finger is on the fourth fret of the G string. First finger, third fret B string. Third finger is sort of prepared in advance here. It doesn't have to be, but I put it on the fourth fret of the first string, and fourth finger on the fifth fret of the first string. Same picking pattern, thumb starting on the sixth string. Off. Let's take it from here just so you get a feel for it. Off. Off. before we go any further, I also want to mention, you'll hear that these two melody notes that are changing are a little bit louder than the rest. That's the melody that's going. It's sort of... The first note is usually a bit louder. The second one is a bit softer. I'm not using a rest stroke. A rest stroke, if you don't know, is when your finger comes to rest on the next string. The reason I'm not using a rest stroke is because I want all of the notes to ring. If you do a rest stroke, obviously the note that's above, or the string I should say, that's above the one you're picking is not going to sound. You're going to stop its sound like this. That note that was playing on the B string is stopped as soon as I do a rest stroke. In this piece you want all of the notes to continuously ring. Therefore we use a tirando or a free stroke. But you give it a little bit more oomph. So let's carry on. Bar 4, half bar at the 5th fret, second finger on the 6th fret of the G string. Same picking, but the thumb has moved back to the A string. We're going to have our 4th finger on the 7th fret of the 1st string. Off. That's why we have this bar prepared, so that we can just lift off and we're already ready at the 5th fret. Here we're moving to a half bar at the 2nd fret. And our 3rd finger is on the 4th fret of the 1st string, same finger picking pattern. We're moving to this chord, 1st finger, 1st fret on the A string, 3rd finger, 2nd fret on the B string, 4th finger, 2nd fret on the E string, same finger picking pattern. Here I've moved my hand around and I'm getting ready to do a bar chord at the 2nd fret. I'm barring 5 strings, 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D string, 5th finger, 5th fret B string. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3. Then that 4th finger moves and you do that sequence again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3. And we're moving to an E major chord. 1st finger, 1st fret on the G string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret on the D string, and we're picking 6, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4. Okay, so let's just go from the B7 sus4 chord. In the tabs or the full score, whichever you have, you go back to the beginning. So I'm not going to play that. Now we're moving on to the 2nd section, the B section. 1st finger on the 1st fret of the G string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Back to the original picking pattern, starting on the 6th string. Then to a bar at the 4th fret. I'm barring 4 strings here, and my 3rd finger is on the 4th fret of the 1st string. Same picking pattern. There, I've picked the note on the 4th string at the 2nd fret, so I didn't go back to this bass here. 4th string. Okay, I'll do that one more time. Then I'm placing my 2nd finger onto the 3rd fret of the G string, 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 1st string. Then off. Thumb goes back to that 4th string. Right, I'll put those two bars together. Now we're going back to the chord that we had before, the E7 suspended 4th, but this time the fingering has changed. 3rd finger, 4th fret G string, 2nd finger, 3rd fret B string, 4th finger, 5th fret on the 1st string. Same picking. 4th finger is going to move to the 4th fret, so it's acting as a guide finger, it's sliding along. 1st finger is on the 2nd fret here. Let's put those bars together. Here this first finger along 1, and the 4th finger goes back to where it was at the 5th fret, and we're picking from here. No more low bass. Then slide again back to the 4th. Okay, I'll put that bar together. Half bar at the 2nd fret, 3rd finger 4th fret D string, 4th finger 5th fret E string. Okay, so slightly different finger picking pattern, similar to the one we had with the B7 sus4 chord. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. You do it twice. Move the bar to the 7th fret, same finger picking pattern. The 2nd finger goes on to the 8th fret on the 1st string, same finger picking pattern. Let me take it from here. And we have a full bar at the 9th fret, and 2nd finger 10th fret on the G string. Okay, so that's 6, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. Then the 11th fret on the D string, and here I just like to throw these in because I think they sound cool. I do 3 harmonics at the 12th fret. 12th fret on the D string, and then 12th fret on the B and E strings. That little bar sounds like this. Okay, we're into the next part of the song. Back to the first chord that began the song. We're going to that E7 chord with the suspension, but this time we're putting an A in the bass. Then back to this chord with an A in the bass, not an E this time. Then to this chord. Now here we have a departure. So after this, to this chord, which is F sharp 7 suspended 4th. First finger 4th fret on the D string, 3rd finger 6th fret G string, 2nd finger 5th fret B string, 4th finger 7th fret 1st string. Then move to the 6th fret on the 1st string. I'll do that again. Half bar at the 7th fret, and 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 1st string. A slight change in the finger picking pattern. Then 3rd finger comes off. Then 4th finger goes on to the 10th fret. Let's just run through those strings. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. Let's just run that second section. When we get to this chord, in the full score markings, not in the tabs, there's a crescendo. Crescendo means gradually increase the volume or increase the tone. I tend to do a little bit of a rallentando, kind of like slowing down, but I'm just increasing the length of those notes. Not too much. Next chord, first finger 1st fret on the D string, 3rd finger 2nd fret on the G string, 2nd finger 1st fret on the E string. That's 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. Then to an E7 chord, 2nd finger 2nd fret D string, 1st finger 1st fret G string, 4th finger 3rd fret B string, same finger picking pattern. Those 2 bars. When you get there, you can start to drop that volume off a diminuendo. Then Then we're moving back to the A chord that was here. We've got that half bar or little mini bar across 2 strings. Second finger, 6th fret on the 3rd string, and we're going to pick. So it's 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. In the tabs, it's got 7th fret on the D string, but I like to end with a harmonic there, like that. That's just on the 7th fret of the D string. You just lightly rest your finger, don't even press down, you're just touching that string lightly right over the fret, and then you pick. If you want it to be a little bit more pronounced, you can pick closer here. Move your right hand towards the bridge. 4. Otherwise just end it with a normal note. The choice is yours. Fellow guitarists, thanks for hanging out with me today. That is the end of the tutorial. If you like these tutorials and you're keen to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. I've received a couple of requests asking me to put fret markers on the neck of the guitar so that people can see which fret I'm at more easily. I want to know what all of you out there think about that. Do you think it's something that you would want me to do? Put the fret markers on so you can see where I am a little bit more easily? Or do you think it's something that I should just leave and continue? Let me know your thoughts on this. It's really important that you give me some feedback and we all interact with one another so that we can make this channel a really powerful and effective teaching channel for guitar. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you all at the next tutorial. Let your fingers fly.